Hey there everybody, we are back and it is time for the second round of 8 for the Tactic Hive Beta Cup now. So we've got Team Bob Marley versus P252. So P252, the team that we just witnessed beating out, who did they beat out? They beat out Textbook Dota. Just got to update my stream title here. P252 versus Team Bob Marley. Bam! Alright, so we're in. We're good to go. Let's do it. Uh-oh.
Radiant team ban. Dire team
Alright,
ban.
so getting underway here. Team Bob Marley was the runner-up for the last Tactic Hive Cup. They took second place in that tournament, and Tryhard Dota undefeated in this one. So we're looking pretty, and then we're looking pretty crazy. So getting into this right off the bat, we got a Slark ban, an Ancient Apparition ban, and an Ember Spirit ban. This has been the first two bans for a lot of teams. I think we actually saw the, who did we see? We saw Textbook Dota ban that out last game. And Tryhard Dota got rid of, what was it, like Nature's Prophet and Lycan or something, I think? I can't recall. But they get rid of Slark this game, not wanting to have to deal with that sly little fish, and understandably so. They get rid of that, and they also get rid of the Lycan, so they don't have to deal with that push. It's a really aggressive carry, and first pick Invoker for Team Bob Marley. Alright, so this is actually looking a surprising, this is looking surprisingly like our first game that we watched today, and you know, I guess this is just how the meta is at this point, but I still don't feel that any hero is really bad in this patch, so I think there's a lot of versatility and a lot of heroes available to both teams. So, for now, Invoker picked up by Team Bob Marley, and we'll see what Tryhard Dota chooses to go for this game. He tried some shenanigans with a one-position Murano last game, and it worked out for him, but I think a lot of that was also due to their support rotations and their decent win on mid lane. So I think they executed really, really well, and we'll see how that ends up turning out for them this game. They do grab the Shadow Shaman, which they did really, really like last game, and then they snatch up Doom. They're going to have that Doombringer available, and I absolutely love Doom against Invoker. It's, oh, it shuts him down so hard, and I despise playing Invoker against the Doom. It's just so rough. So Dazzle is going to be picked up, and Dazzle works against Doom as well, so these are kind of some counter picks we see coming out here. It kind of forces you to use Doom on Dazzle, because if you don't, he's just going to Shallow Grave and heal up anybody that you get Doom on, and I mean, unless you can burst him down and really, you know, get on that person's biscuits, chase him down, and wait for the Shallow Grave to wear off, it's really hard to knock him out. So I think for now it's going to be I think it's a pretty good pickup. We'll have to see. And like I said, it's going to force that Doom to have to think of the Dazzle as a choice. Well, as a primary choice for that Doom in pretty much every scenario. Because once again, if you don't, Dazzle's just going to save that person. So we do have the Lone Druid and the Death Prophet banned out. So both teams fearing a bit of push here, and not sure about the Lone Druid ban. I don't think that Team Bob Marley would have picked that. It's not a very popular hero nowadays, and doesn't really synergize that well with Invoker and Dazzle. I mean, I guess he does work well with the Alacrity when you get into the late game, but I mean, I think there's better heroes for accelerating a bear than, well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's that would warrant an entire Lone Druid pick. Anyways, Timbersaw taken out by Team Bob Marley, so they're not going to want to deal with Rizrak, and yeah, fair enough. They absolutely destroyed the Timbersaw. Actually, no, that wasn't, yeah, P252. They absolutely destroyed Timbersaw their last game, so not something they're worried about, but they do ban out the Juggernaut as well. Jug works really well with Dazzle too, because he can just get himself into a lot of sticky scenarios. He can just Blade Fury into the middle of everything, and, you know, Omni Slash around, and then on his way out he can just get Shallow Grave and healed up. So yeah, I would have liked Jug's chances in this matchup, but not going to be the case as it is banned out. So Tryhard Dota gets the first pick of the second phase. They will have the ability to snag up whatever they want.
5 seconds remaining.
Alright.
Reserve time.
Actually dipping into their reserve time a little bit, wasting out a couple seconds. We'll see how long they take thinking about this. Could be pretty indicative of what they have, of what their train of thought is right now. A lot of times if you have a concrete strategy stuck in your head and you know what you want to go for, you will just kind of go for it. And you know, the more reserve time you waste, the more you can. The more your opponents can tell that you are kind of just going pick by pick, which I mean is not a terrible way to do things, but it also means that those combo heroes, those really synergistic picks, might not be at the top of your mind. So seeing something like a Shadow Demon may mean that, or like seeing the Shadow Shaman may not be indicative of picking up a Marana, and if you're taking a lot of time.
5 seconds
So.
remaining.
So that was the point I was trying to get across. Kind of got a little muddied there as I was trying to work out how to say it. But either way, the Nyx Assassin is the pickup for P252, and they ran that on the offlane in the game that we just watched, and it worked out really well for him. Like I said, I find Nyx is pretty easy to zone out and just keep from getting XP. But in that last game, they didn't do a great job of it, as the supports kept having to rotate out of the lane, and Nyx was able to move up and ended up pretty rich in that game. I think last time I checked his item, he had a big FF and Arcane boost, so I mean, he had everything he needed on top of people, and I'm sure number 2 at the end of that after they were crushing the base. But Bristleback, by Team Bob Marley now, he wasn't banned out in any of the first 2 phases, which is a little bit surprising, so they're going to take that up, and I love Bristleback, and he's really strong, but this game, not 100% sure if he's going to be the best. I mean, Doom will negate Bristleback and Quill Spray, which means that he won't really be able to get himself out of a situation if he gets doomed up. Now, the something that was cool that I was hearing in a cast the other day was, the way to counter Doom isn't to pick heroes that are bad Doom targets. It's to pick a lot of heroes that are really good Doom targets, because generally Doom relies on the fact that he can just shut somebody down. And so if you pick a lot of heroes that he can't shut down, I mean, you can only pick 1 out of the 4 or 5, right? So pick a lot of them. He's got to waste it on somebody, and the other people are just going to clean him up. So, food for thought as well, because, like I said, you throw that Doom on Bristleback, it's going to mean that Dazzle and Invoker are going to go to work, and if you throw it on Dazzle or Invoker, Bristleback's going to go to work. So we'll see how that works out for him, though, but I do feel that Tryhard Dota, or P252 right now, has a lot of ability to deal with Bristleback. They got the slow on the Viper, they've got the Shackles from the Shadow Shaman, and then they've got the Nyx, who doesn't seem like an innate counter to the Bristleback, but when you can catch him out of position with the stealth, and you can hit him in the face, and prevent him from turning back around because of all the control you have, you can dish out a lot more burst damage to him than you would think. A Viper going to be picked up by P252, I just mentioned that, and I think he's going to serve his purpose here. He does really well in lane against Invoker. He's got a lot of damage over time, which will help destroy targets after they've been shallow graved, and as well he's got the slow that just works well against really everybody. So Abaddon, the pickup for Team Bob Marley, also going for a little bit of purge tactics here, going to try to get rid of a lot of these debuffs that are available now. I'm not sure if Doom cannot be purged by Aphotic Shield. I wish it could. I think Aphotic Shield will eat damage ticks from Doom, but it will not purge Doom outright. So, not exactly a direct counter pick. However, it will purge out a lot of other stuff. For example, the Viper Strike, the Shackles from Shadow Shaman, and whatever stun you happen to be under from Nyx Assassin. So I think it'll be a good pick, and especially with the Bristleback. I mean, Abaddon or Bristleback is a really absurd front line, and if they get a really strong carry that can come in from the backside, something like a Luna or an Anti-Mage or even a Faceless Void or something, they're going to be able to create a lot of space for that carry to work and dish out his damage. I would like to see a really squishy high damage carry for Team Bob Marley right now, something along the lines of a Weaver, of an Anti-Mage, of a Luna, maybe even a Phantom Assassin, because, I mean, they've got a lot of ability to keep somebody alive and keep them fighting. And so the more damage you get, the better. See what the choice is. The Weaver was banned out by P252 here, so they're not gonna be putting up for any of those shenanigans. He's gonna shut that down right out the gate.
5 seconds remaining.
Curious to see what they are gonna pick up.
Reserve time.
Alright, Outworld Devourer picked up by P252. So, curious, I think the Viper's going to be on the off lane. We're going to have a safe lane Doom with the Nyx and the Shadow Shaman. Now, this could actually be an aggressive lane, but I don't think aggressive against a Dazzle and Abaddon is going to work out too well. So I think we're probably going to have a safe lane Doom with the Shadow Shaman and the Nyx Assassin roaming, Viper on the off lane, and then the OD in the mid. Team Bob Marley's, their lanes are pretty cut and dry. We're going to have a carry picked up here, which will go towards the safe lane with the Dazzle and the Abaddon, Bristleback up towards the off lane, and then the Invoker on mid. Now, Invoker versus OD. I think now that they've changed OD, this is a matchup that Invoker is likely to win a lot more often, especially if he goes for Exort. Now, Exort can backfire, especially against a team that has a lot of aggression like THD's does, but I think in this scenario, winning a lane against an OD is, kind of dependent on going for that Exort. Now, you can go for it with Quas, but, you need a lot more mana when you go Quas Wex. Additionally, you can't really, you don't have the damage to trade 1-to-1 with him. And you don't have the damage to last hit after you've had your intel stolen either. The damage for that comes from Exort. So, they're going to pick up a Dragon Knight. Alright, so they're going for they're kind of committing to a tanky front line and hoping that I can do enough damage. Now, I'm not sure if it will indeed. It'll certainly do a bunch, but Doom is a really tanky hero. Viper is a really tanky hero. OD is really slippery in the fact that he'll usually get a Force Staff and he has the Astral Imprisonment. Nyx Assassin also very slippery. Shadow Shaman is the only hero that really gets absolutely demolished if he gets jumped on. So, this is going to be a game where in the team fights it's just a lot of butting heads. Both teams just kind of going at it and charging at each other and seeing who can withstand the most pressure. So the Dragon Knight will be heading towards the mid, and the Bristleback, I feel, will be on an aggressive tri-lane? Aggressive tri-lane, huh. Alright, so I think this can work out for them. I think it can. Bristle's got a lot of damage, and with the two supports to back him up, and a shield on a Bristleback with Shallow Grave to get him back out, and I think they're going to have a decent time up here. I didn't really think about this while we were drafting, but it's definitely a good option. Alright, so let's introduce the players here. We got literally Too Bad to Win Dota playing on that Dazzle. HY Love Story on the Bristleback. I like that name. Goldie going to be playing on that Abaddon in the mid lane. We got Swim to the Moon on the Dragon Knight. And down on the solo safe lane, we have an Invoker. Jude Law. Oh, God, I hate that mask so much. So ugly. Anyways. THD, last game, they had a really friggin' ugly set of names, so I'm not even going to pronounce them. We got whatever on Nyx Assassin, at Tiburon on the mid lane OD, and then, what was this? Oh yeah, Katso Kawaii on the Doom. And then the other two names are just too stupid. Anyways, Shadow Poison goes on to the Viper. We might have an early first blood here. They're throwing out the Viscous Nasal Goo, trying to chase this down, and the stun has already been used by the Nyx Assassin. Sheep goes out, but they're chasing it down. I think they're going to get this. First blood goes to the Abaddon, and an engagement around that double damage rune has already secured this aggressive tri-lane. A solid foothold in this game. Now, something very important to note for all of you amateur players out there, never skill until you see what the lane is going to be like. In that scenario, the Bristleback had not put any points into any of his abilities, and because he put a point into Viscous Nasal Goo, they were able to get first blood. So a really strong play there. Now the Dazzle is just getting right up in their faces, shutting them down, and this is what an aggressive lane is all about. You gotta just make those trades, and even though the Dazzle took a fair amount of damage there, he did a lot to the enemy carry, which means that if an engagement were to break out right now, I believe that Team Bob Marley would win. So definitely looking very strong early on. The Shadow Shaman's going to pull this wave away, going to try to get the wave back, but he only manages to kill off one creep in doing that, so there is going to be a double stacked wave coming up in just a couple seconds. So looking really good. Like I said, Team Bob Marley did come in second place in the Tactic Hive Alpha Cup, losing out to Comeback City. So they're definitely a really strong team, and we'll see how they do as they head forward. Doom picks up the heal on the Hill Troll Priest. That's hilarious. How many points of damage did that heal? 15 health per 5 mana. That's absolutely hilarious. He's just gonna keep casting that. I think you can actually auto cast that. You just right click it. And it'll auto cast. Oh, that's too funny. I've never actually seen a Doom do that before. I think actually the regen that you would get from a Hill Troll is better than that. Actually, maybe not. I don't know. Actually, not a Hill Troll, a Satyr. Anyway, Shadow Shaman coming down the river. There is a Radiant Ward there, so he's going to be spotted out. And now, knowing that he's not in the lane, they jump right onto this. They're pinging out the Nyx Assassin. They're going to go for it. Abaddon running up there, slowing him down with Curse of Avernus, but a great Impale catches all three, and the Abaddon's going to be forced to run away. Takes a lot of damage underneath that tower. Actually loses about 400 of his total 625 life points. And the Bristleback's just going to go back to farming. The great thing about this lane is that they got a lot of heal and a lot of sustain. The Dazzle going to be able to heal them up. They all bought a lot of regen, and the Abaddon also has shields, and he will have Mistcoil in a level or two. So I definitely feel that they've got the right to push this away. And I mean, you saw this. This is great map awareness. They see that the Shadow Shaman is up the river. He's down there looking at the wards, and they just went. They just charged. And I mean, they didn't get a lot out of it, but they zoned their opponents out and made them scared. And now, I mean, the Shadow Shaman can't really afford to be out of the lane. I mean, he's going to be stacking and pulling over here, but I mean, the second this lane pushes back up, it's going to give Team Bob Marley room to push forward. So, interesting games here. We do have a bottle picked up on the OD, and he's doing pretty damn well against the Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight does have a regen rune and no stacks of Astral Imprisonment up on him already, so he's going to be looking alright. Pops off that regen rune and throws a Breathe Fire to get a little bit extra out of that regen, so doing alright. Down on the bottom lane, I think yeah, Doom's going to be just fine in this lane. I mean, he's not going to get a... He's not going to thrive, but I mean, he's going to be able to stand his own. He'll be able to take this harass from Invoker quite a while. And you need to right-click that, man. I think if you right-click it, it'll just auto-cast on its own. He's actually pressing the button every single time right now. Shackle goes out onto the Bristleback. Lots of damage coming out. Great Impale catches him out, but a shield will get the Bristleback back out of that. And now the Dazzle is getting jumped on. And he is slowed down by the Viper. Oh my god, doing so much damage. Is it going to be enough? They're chasing him out, but he is going to survive for now. So a little bit of a sloppy engagement goes back the way of P252, and they gain a little bit of lane dominance here. I mean, they didn't get any kills, but it does put them in a little bit of a better position to brawl. Now, Bristleback charging forward, going for full-on aggression, and I don't blame him whatsoever. Chases after that, Viper, and they force him away. Now, Clarity broken on the Nyx Assassin. He's going to pop off a second one right away, and if they manage to break that as well, he's going to be in a sad, sad state. Dragon Knight finds himself a regen rune. Sends the illusions up to scout out the jungle. And he's got a full bottle. Down on bottom, Doom. Looks like he's getting in a little bit of a trouble. He found himself hidden over by the side shop, and he moved up to pick up his phase boots. But the biggest problem with this heal is that every time he wants to cast it, he has to stop and do that nasty animation. But Invoker's really causing him a lot of trouble here. Throws out the Tornado, doing what he can. Dazzle throws out Shadow Poison. Now, this is a great thing about Viper, is that any damage over time spell will continue to refresh Corrosive Skin just like this and harass Dazzle out. My absolute favorite interaction of any two spells in this game is Replicate and Corrosive Skin. It's hilarious. If you're playing a Morphling and you get a Replicate of the Viper and then you attack Viper with that Replicate, Corrosive Skin will infinitely bounce back and forth between the two. And since you get bonus health on the Replicate, oh man, great Impale, catches out the Dazzle, but an Aphotic Shield will pick that up. Now, turn back around, they're going on the Shadow Shaman, the Crisp of Avernus slowing them down, and with the Quill Spray, they will manage to finish it off, but they get the Bristleback in return, maybe even the Abaddon. They get a great Impale, they catch him out, slowed up by the Viper, chasing him down now. He's going to throw the shield on himself, and I think he will be able to get out of that, but it does take a lot of damage in return. Yeah, Morphling. Get a Replicate, attack Viper, and the Corrosive Skin will bounce back and forth between the two forever. Until your Replicate dies. So if you can keep the Replicate up, it'll just like dish out tons and tons and tons of damage to Viper, and it basically just turns the spell back on him. I've had so much fun doing that, and you just get that Replicate to attack him, and it literally drops him down to like no health. I've seen a lot of Vipers just have to be and just sit in spawn until my Replicate dies. It's pretty fantastic. Best part about that combo too is that it's completely global. Is that there's nothing Viper can do aside from just trying to regen it up. And as OD grabbed himself an Invis rune that was pinged out, so Radiant Side doesn't know that that's available, but OD not going to try to gank with that. He's going to return to his lane, start farming up. Looking at the last hits now, we do have Doom on top of the charts. He's actually 10 above his opponent, which is the Invoker, and Invoker doesn't have a lot of damage because he's chosen to go Quas Wex. And so Doom been able to deny him fairly well. He's sitting 34 and 8, while the Invoker is 23 and 4. A little bit of action up on the top lane. Shadow Poison thrown out onto the Shadow Shaman. He's going to try to walk through the creeps. Gets blocked up a little bit, but turned around really rapidly, and the Abaddon ends up dying to a full creep wave and the Viper. So 2-2 on the board right now, and 7 minutes in is the game time. Looks like this aggressive tri-lane's been going okay, but seeing as THD did not choose to go for a traditional carry, and instead went for a Viper, they do have a lot more leniency in this lane, because Viper fights early a lot better than, say, a Luna or an Anti-Mage or a Spectre or a Gyro, etc., etc. So they do have the ability to push this back, but, I mean, the Nyx is not really contributing a lot. He's getting great Impales, but, I mean, Nyx is a hero. He just doesn't... Oh, man. Doom caught out. Looks like a good Tornado EMP Cold Snap finish him off, and alright, Team Bob Marley grabbed himself another kill there. Ghost Spray is going out, and they do get the Hex out. Now an Impale and Shallow Grave out on that Bristleback. He pops off his Magic Wand a little bit too early. May still fall on the back side of this, but he does get miscoiled up. He's going to be okay. The Dazzle gets eaten up, and now Heal's going down. They're trying to turn this back around, and oh my god, they might manage to get it. They're almost on all three of them. Shield up onto the Bristle. He might have gone a little bit too far. It does hook into the trees and prevent the line of sight. Now they do manage to finish off the Shadow Shaman, chasing after the next assassin. A couple more auto attacks, and they will manage to finish him off. Oh my god, one more. Are they going to do it? They cannot. Viper runs himself back around the trees, and I think he's going to be fine. He's actually going to spot out the Dazzle. Maybe he's going to go for this. Is he going to manage to hit? Dazzle trying to juke through the trees, get the line of sight up, but a couple more auto attacks, maybe. Heal, keeping Dazzle alive for now. Abaddon trying to body block him, but that might be his demise, and he does fall to the Viper. So, bit of a sloppy engagement on both sides there. THD gets himself a little bit too far forward, gets chased down. They do lose the Shadow Shaman, but instead, they get a couple of kills back. Now the Cold Snap goes out on the OD, and Invoker came up from bottom lane, now looking for him. This EMP is going to hit, and oh my god, douching out a ton of damage. Bristleback TP's in and does manage to pick up that kill for himself. So he's well on his way to his Vanguard now, about 600 gold off of that. 700. Doing good. Anyways, Invoker contributing to that. And Team Bob Marley playing really well right now, 5-3. Just right out the gates, playing really, really strong. We see a drum pickup coming up for the Invoker. He's on his way to that. Doom chasing him down. He does have Doom available now, so he can try to make something happen with that. Well, in the mid lane, Dragon Knight has popped off the Dragon form, and with the OD down, chipped out a lot of damage from this tower, about 600 damage off this tower, and he's just going to back up. He's got himself some power treads now, and as well as a full bottle, so I don't think OD's in any position to fight him directly right now. Doom looking in the jungle, and that's a gnarly mask. What's he doing down here? The Nick's roaming around as well, but he's not level 6 yet, so he's not going to be able to get anything from this. Oh, he's just waiting for Doom to, or for Devour to come off alone so we can grab that troll spell. Mid lane, the Dragon form has worn off. OD going to find himself an Illusion Rune, but it is snagged by the Abaddon right off the bat. And is Curse of Avernus get applied by Illusions? I would imagine it would be. But not going to be enough, and Outworld Devourer, OD, run himself away. Doom almost got drums for himself right now, sitting on phase boots, and 100 gold off of the drum. Seen engagement coming out here, and both heroes just going to kind of back away from it for now. They do spot the Shadow Shaman though. He's going to try to TP away, but it's not enough. A lot of damage goes out. Shadow Shaman going to fall in the top lane, and a 6th kill getting taken by Team Bob Marley. And I failed to mention as we were heading into this game, but this is the round of 8. And in the round of 8, it is best of 3. So you can see the ticker up here. That will update after the second game. But for now, it's 0-0. And whichever team takes this game is going to have to take one more to be able to move on. Looks like they want to catch this Invoker. The Impale did miss. Are they going to throw Doom? No. But, yeah, that wouldn't have been a good idea. If that Impale hit, I think they would have been able to hit Doom and finish off that Invoker down there. But he dodges it just fine and backs himself up. He's going to be alright. I'm in top. Great Impale catches out the Dazzle underneath the tower, and he's going to fall. Bristleback limping away with only a fraction of his health. And will they manage to catch anything from him? I don't imagine so. We'll be able to run over to the side shot, pick up his Vanguard in just a moment. Now turning this back around, they're jumping on the Doom here. The drums get popped off, so they got that extra movement speed. Cold Snap is up, and Curse of Avernus slowing down Doom just a little bit. But with that Scorched Earth, he's going to be able to run away really, really fast. And I think he's going to be alright. Does manage to hobble away from that, but did not drop a kill. And that's really what's important right now. Scuffle in the mid lane. They're going for this, and the OD actually drops pretty darn low. He does have Midas. Midas is up a creep before he runs away, but sitting on about 100 health. He's going to have to bottle himself back up to if he wants to stay in this lane. There is a haste rune down here, but Abaddon's going to find it. And I think he's going to save that for the Dragon Knight. Yeah. Anyways, in terms of last hits, we still have the OD and the Doom sitting right on top of that. Invoker sitting pretty close behind. Not as bad off as he was before, but about 5 behind the Doom. 40 up on both of the safe, well, like 42 and 35 up on the safe lane heroes, which is a little bit odd, but considering all the brawling that's been going on this lane, it's completely understandable. They're chasing up on this Viper, and he's slowed down so much. He's going to turn around and throw out the Viper strike just to try to survive it. We got TP support coming in from the OD. He's going to move in. Astral imprisons the Abaddon and finishes off the Bristleback with Sanity's Eclipse. Now chasing in on the Abaddon. He does not have his ultimate yet, and actually, no, that popped off beforehand. I think that actually popped off when he got Astraled, so really well played there. And 6-6 the kill score at 13 minutes. Really exciting game so far, and really even across the board. Dragon Knight trying to work on finishing off this tower, but he might get caught out as this Nyx Assassin is moving in on him. And we're going to wait, and there it goes. Structure's fortified, a little bit of a miscommunication there, but he's going to get astraled up as the OD moves towards him, and I think this Dragon Knight is toast. He's going to try to juke himself into the trees here and bottle up, but yeah, I think you are not long for this world, my friend. One more attack from the OD and he will fall. Dragon Knight down, 7th kill on the side of THD, and they do manage to deny the tower, so doing really, really good. Doom now in the jungle, farming up what he can. He's got 63 last hits right now, 64, sitting on top of the last hits charts. Going on this tier 1 tower though, I think they might be able to take this. They've got a lot of front line, like I was talking about. They got this Bristleback stuck in the enemy's face, and I mean, even though he is taking some attacks from the Bristleback, or from the Viper, not really giving a shit quite yet. Now the Nyx, looks for the Impale, doesn't find it. They still slowed up this Bristleback, but now the Invoker on the sideline does get the Tornado off on 2, gonna drop the EMP, but he gets doomed up, and Hex, he's gonna try to run away from this. Maybe they'll get a deny on him, but I don't imagine he's gonna live through that. Now, looking for the Shadow Shaman. This is Bristleback, he's chasing this up, but the Serpent Words go down, dividing the two, dishing out a ton of damage. Dazzle does fall. The Invoker on the backlines, he's still doomed. I don't know if he's gonna drop or not, but the Bristleback does fall. Now looking for the Dragon Knight. He's going to see what he can get done, but not the case. Shield thrown out by the Abaddon, but he's going to fall. Invoker did get out of that alive, and Abaddon did as well, but 3 heroes falling in exchange for the Nyx. And THD, oh my god, this Tornado is going to drop. Oh, not enough damage. Doesn't finish off the Doom. Looked like it could have, but yeah, that was scary. Team Bob Marley dropping a few kills there, and P252, THD, dishing out the damages, finishing off that fight in their favor, and really taking this game where they want it. Now, despite the fact that neither really has a true late-game carry, I really late game, where the Abaddon can start picking up some items for himself, he can become quite a threat as well. So, if this game does stay at relatively even grounds for another 15 to even 20 minutes, I think Team Bob Marley will start to swing back in their favor, but does the advantage just rolling HD. Not a team up for those. They're fight. They got a little like he's struck away, shielded by the Abaddon. Gets jump, Ash, looking back. They got spray. Putting everyone to the Nyx and the and really, really good. If the from Abaddon is killed, he works himself back under the to go to the street, but TP finish him off. TP out towards the Shadow Shaman, who does drop the Serpent Words, looking to see if he can finish off Dazzle, and it might. Hey, Sanity's Eclipse goes out, does manage to get a kill on the Shadow Shaman, but he does fall in OD. Bottom lane though, trades going out, and top tier 1 take for the Dire. Bottom, if that engagement goes a little bit, they do take a couple towers. So I'm really Rapslow and the Gold Swing. Oh my god, look at this. There's a couple team fights, in particular that one up on top. TH managed down in their favor over the course of a couple minutes. But with that one engagement going back their way and taking a tower, actually taking 2 towers, almost a 5k gold swing going back towards that 0 mark. And it is actually now just in Team Bob Marley's favor. So doing really graph. Pretty much similar swing here, but that tower gold, of course, is not factored in here. So it is still sitting about 2,500 in favor of THD. Oh, looks like we had a little bit of lag there for a second. Both teams, everybody kind of just tweaking out for a sec, but should be alright here in just a moment. Invoker's sitting on a lot of mobility here as well. He's got Quaswex, as it would be, well, as we mentioned earlier, but he's also got the Drums of Endurance, the Force Staff, and the Phase Boost, so he can move really fast and he can be anywhere he really wants to be. Positioning is key on Invoker. The OD. Astral's up the Bristleback. Tornado going to fly, not going to hit anything for now. And pressure coming in on the tier 2. I think THD wants to defend this. They need to get in position. And EMP drops. Not going to hit anything. Viper coming in from the side lane, and now looking for that Dragon Knight. He Dragon Tails up Doom, and Doom does go out onto the Dazzle to prevent the shallow graves. The Dragon Knight gets finished off in the midst of a shackle, and the Dazzle will fall as well. Now turning this back around, the Abaddon gets his ulti popped off. Bristleback going to fall, chasing in towards that Abaddon. I think he should be alright. Shackle's off cooldown now for the Shadow Shaman. Will he be able to get it? I don't think so. So 3 kills picked up for absolutely nothing on the side of P252. Now moving in towards this tier 1 tower, and an EMP Tornado going to help him out a little bit, but Astral Imprisonment up on the Invoker. I think he's going to be fine. He does have that Force Staff to get himself out of any trouble, and might even be able to turn it around, kill off this OD, but that is not the case. The Abaddon does fall. 5 kill advantage on the side of Tryhard Dota. Wow. Just really making these team fights happen in their favor, and I mean, it can go either way. And we saw, I mean, that Bristleback, when he got the Shallow Grave up on him, and he was dishing out all those, Bristleback procs, or the Quill Sprays rather, he was dishing out a ton of damage up at top. But that was what it took. And now Ro8 being taken by P252, and there is no contest coming out here from Team Bob Marley. I don't even think they know that it's happening, as there are no wards here, 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 or here. So Ro8 gonna fall.
Roshan has fallen to the die.
OD gonna grab the Aegis. 2,600 gold in his bank, and I think we'll likely be seeing him go for a Sheepstick pretty soon here. There's a lot of heroes that Team Bob Marley would like out of a fight at the beginning, and they're working towards that. Alright, so with the Aegis up, now looking towards finishing off this bottom tier 1, and I mean, they don't even need creeps for that. Yeah, Viper's just going to run out, throw out a couple auto attacks, and that will be it for bottom tier 1. Looks like they really wanted Doom to have that gold. They all backed off and let him get it, so he's getting close to his Black King bar. Meanwhile, Team Bob Marley going to try to trade this out with the Dragon Eye pushing on the mid lane, and I think that was probably the best choice, but they do back off pretty quickly, and creeps pushing into this tower is going to be denied.
Dire's middle tower has been denied.
Unfortunate, but that's how it goes. Alrighty. Dazzle now sitting on a double damage rune. Doesn't do that much to begin with, but 150 damage is nothing to scoff at either. Moving up here, they're P252 really trying to make sure that all of their lanes are pushed before they get into an engagement, because Team Bob Marley, despite their incredible team fight, they do have a lot of push potential in the fact that I mean, Dazzle can keep lanes pushed, Dragon Knight can knock down towers and lanes really, really quickly with that Dragon form, and I mean, Invoker, it's not exactly the best pusher, but he can if needed. So they're they're being really cognizant about making sure their lanes are pushed out, and the one time that they weren't was up here, and they ended up losing their mid tier 2 for it. They did get it denied, but I mean, a lost tower is still a lost tower. Looking over towards the net worth here, we've got about 9,600 up on the out on the OD, and 8,000 up on the Doom. This is looking pretty comparable to the last hits graphs. The only heroes that have it switched around are the supports due to tower gold, so everything corresponding pretty evenly there. So net worth still a little bit in favor of THD. They do have a little bit of an advantage on the gold graph, I believe. Yeah, it started to swing back down their way as they picked up Ro8 and got themselves a tower and a couple other things. So Team Bob Marley really needs to make something happen in their favor, and I think a smoke gank is the way to go. I mean, they can fight, but I don't think they can fight on perfectly even terms. So I think if they can get a smoke gank out, pick off 1 or 2 heroes, and then push their advantage from there, that's really where they're going to shine. So we'll see what comes of it, but right now they're moving in towards the enemy jungle. They're going to spot out this Viper first, and the entire team following up behind it. EMP going down. The Doom is up on the Invoker, so he's not going to be really of much effect in this fight. Dragon Tail goes out on the Doom, and they're focusing a lot on Doom right now. Pops off that Black King bar, and now the Sanity's Eclipse goes down. Great Impale catches 3, and they're going to finish off Dazzle. He's going to be the first casualty of this fight. Doom running himself away with a fraction of his health. Now going in on the Bristleback. He's going to fall, and now looking towards Abaddon. Dragon Knight in the middle of all this, going to see what he can get done, but it's not enough. And look at this. All of these heroes so low. Up here you can see. And the Invoker, the Doom target, the only person to get away from that fight because he just walked away right off the bat. And I mean, you need better focus than that. We had a lot of people jumping in towards that. On that Doom, and it worked out okay. I mean, you got Doom really low, but once he popped off that Black King bar, he was no longer a target, and they switched on to Shadow Shaman, and then he got himself out, and then Viper, and he got himself out, and really good juggling of the damage from P252, but Team Bob Marley really not having the focus that it took to really take that team fight. They just left every hero up at a fraction of their health, and now THD takes another engagement, and they're up 9 kills. Let's see what they can find. They find the Viper, but he does manage to TP himself out in time. The OD running himself away with that Force Staff as well. Nyx, Invis rune. Best rune for Nyx. Oh man. Random Sentry Ward thrown down. Not going to spot him out though, as he did choose to go a different route. 11-1-4 on this OD. That is absurd. He is just doing incredibly well. He's got the Aegis under his belt. He did get that Sheep Stick up like we talked about. And he does have the Force Staff as well. So lots of gold, lots of levels, and lots of kills. Making this guy a force to be reckoned with. Nick's still looking for kills. Not going to find it. He does have himself a Blink Dagger, so he's got that initiation power for later on. Bristleback and Abaddon right up front trying to cause some havoc. And Bristleback, what's he going for? This Heaven's Halberd, maybe? Looks like he's heading towards a Sanj. So it's either a Sanj Yasha or a Heaven's Halberd. And the Sanj Yasha would work okay. It's a good item on Bristleback, but I mean, in this game, I don't think it's quite what he needs. He might even need a BKB. On the bottom, Viper just farming up. Both teams kind of passive at this point. Looks like Viper's going to be heading towards that Mac Ags build. The what is generally considered standard for Viper nowadays. Gives him that massive amount of tankiness and armor, and then gives him the damage from a Viper Strike every 5 seconds. There's a medallion up on the Dazzle, so he can shred a little bit more armor than he normally does, and yeah, really, I mean, the armor shred on Team Bob Marley is incredible. They've got medallion, they've got the ultimate from Dazzle, and then they've got Bristleback who's spraying out quills everywhere. So I mean, if they can really make a fight happen on their terms, like I said, with that Dazzle ultimate down, the Bristleback up in front, taking the damage and dishing it out, I think they really can make fights happen, but it just hasn't happened that way in all these fights. And I mean, that one up in the jungle here was just not executed well. Pushing in towards this tier 1 tower, and I think this is going to go down. There's not enough support nearby, and the Invoker might even get himself caught out here as the Nyx is moving in with the Vendetta. Opens up with an Impale, and they do manage to dish out a lot of damage, but he gets the Ghost Walk off and will manage to escape from that. Abaddon chased up a little bit, but he's just getting shooed away. I think they're going to turn it back around and finish off this tower in just a matter of moments, and I don't think Team Marley can fight this up. The Invoker is healing up decently, as yeah, I think he was offered a couple heals from the Dazzle, and he had Quas stacks up as well. But after getting that tower, they're just going to back away, take what they can, and P252 playing nice and safe. And I think now, with the advantage that we have, I think the late game advantage is on the side of THD. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Dragon Knight and Doom are pretty comparable in their late game damage. And then Invoker. Yeah, Invoker and OD would trade pretty evenly. I think in this scenario right now, OD is way ahead. But generally, an Invoker should be able to trade pretty evenly with OD. And Bristleback Viper kind of serving the same purpose, but I think, yeah, I don't know. Smoke Gang coming in from Team Bob Marley, now taking my advice, doing what they can to find a pickoff, and they're not going to find anything here as they're moving in through this completely empty jungle as the entirety of THD is hanging around mid. I think they're waiting for Ro8 to come back up. We will see when the timer is in just a moment here, but they know they're waiting to hook in from behind. There is a courier spotted out. I think they're going to wait, try to snag the courier. Nope, maybe not. Yeah. They're looking to make some action happen, but not the case. Now we do get the warning there. Roshan going to spawn in a minute and 20, so we're looking at about a 28-minute, 50-second Roshan. And I think P252 is just going to play it nice and safe. Stick together as 5 like they are right now, and wait for Roche to come back up, and then they'll go for that and push in yet again. Nyx illusion scouting it out. I think they know that's an illusion. They're not going to waste anything on that. Bristleback did get a Sanj. We'll see where he goes from there. Like I said, I think the Halberd would be useful, but at the same time, Sanjayasha is the more standard item for Bristleback, so we'll see. We'll see. Oh, what? Black King Bar on the Viper instead of going for the Aghanims. So, alright. Fair enough. I don't blame him. There's a lot of magic damage on the side of Team Bob Marley, so not exactly an unsurprising pickup, but generally the Aghanims is the way that people go with him. Back in base, the Shadow Shaman and the OD just clearing out the waves. Meanwhile, an Invis Doom and the Nyx Assassin, we're looking for some action. See if they do manage to find anything here. The Bristleback is a little bit far up, but he realizes that and starts backing himself away as his team pings him out here. Sentry Ward's down, making sure that they're safe from any Invis shenanigans. And looks like they want to move in towards this tier 2 here. The Doom is up front, and they will see him. Just barely, though. He is out of that Sentry Ward's range now. He blinks forward. The EMP Tornado not catching anybody, and Dazzle forced to use a Shallow Grave on himself. Now the Bristleback falling really low, but does manage to survive a little bit because of the mech. But he does fall as well. Dazzle and Bristleback both falling down. Doom, Dragon Knight trying to run away. 2-man Impale catches 2. And, well, yeah, 2-man Impale catches 2. But full team wipe here. 5-0. THD, P252 really taking this in the team fights. This game has been hinged on their excellent execution in the team fights. I mean, this Nyx Assassin impales everywhere, left, right, and center, just getting those perfect stuns out. The OD always dishing out a ton of damage. Astrals on 3, 4, 5 heroes, and the Doom always right up front, taking a lot of the damage, and just causing as much trouble as you can. I mean, right here you saw the Tornado was flying right across here, and Doom was right here, and he blinked forward up to here just to jump on the Bristleback, and it meant that he was able to... he was the first person into the fight, and so we saw a lot of shit flying his way, and I mean, he walks away with that with half his health, and the rest of his team still doing damage. So, Doom really making this happen for his team, and I mean, every single person on P252 has just been playing out of their minds. You see Jim picked up by the Nyx here, so looking to make sure that no more Invis shenanigans can come out of that Invoker, I guess. It's also be used for dewarding, but in terms of direct hero counters, I don't think there's really anything else to worry about. Oh yeah, there's a Shadow Blade on Dragon Knight. Yeah, he went for Shadow Blade first. I think BKB would have served him a lot better in this game, but not the case. Goes for the Shadow Blade, and perhaps paying for it now as he is 0-5, and Jim is now on the other side of the field, so that Shadow Blade is next to useless. Now Ro8 getting picked up here by THD, and no contest on this once again, so I think this is really starting to swing in the favor of THD. I'm almost scared to look at the graphs, but let's pull those up. Yeah, probably after that Ro8, about a 20k gold advantage in the favor of THD. If we look towards EXP, 25 and slowly climbing. So, things looking nasty. I mean, this Bristleback is having a hard time really making anything happen. He's had the same items since, 22, 23 minutes into this game. And that Vanguard, the Ring of Basilius, and then the Power Treads. And I mean, he just recently picked up the Sange, but he's been slowly building that over the course of the last 10 minutes, so he's not having the greatest time here. Let's run forward. He's going to find a Radiant Ward there, but not going to be able to deward it himself. Either have to blink up there or get an ally to help him out, but I don't think the blink is going to be his course of action, as that could end up with him in a lot of trouble. OD clearing out this wave really quickly, now sitting on a Black King Bar and that Aegis once again, so he is virtually unkillable. Viper, same deal. He's going to be really hard to deal with, and now Elder Dragon Form popped off. They do want to try to defend this, but I don't know if it was the best idea to pop off that Dragon Form quite yet, as the tower does go down, and they weren't able to prevent it. Now, pinging out that Ward Stone, they do want to get rid of that Ward. It does get picked off, and now are they going to continue to push? They've been playing really safe all game, and looks like that's what they're going to continue doing that. Just going to back away for now, moving towards mid and get that tier 2 there. Alright. P252 moving in on this tier 2 tower, and Serpent Ward's actually going to go down for this. So they're going to be able to knock this down pretty quickly. Tornado EMP going to land. Now in the middle of all this is the Doom. He throws out the Doom on the Abaddon. and pick up a different target in every single team fight here. Now Viper Strike out on the Dragon Knight. His Dragon form wears off as he popped that really early. He's going to fall. Sanity's Eclipse, dishing out so much damage. One more auto attack going to fly, and Invoker is going to fall. I think this is GG. Yeah, there it is. Jude Law calls GG, and Team Bob Marley going to bow out of this first game. This is a best of 3, so they do have a chance to bring it back, but the undefeated P252 is continuing to show their dominance, beating out the second place team from the Tactic Hive Alpha Cup, and really taking this game to the next level. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. We're going to throw out the next lobby, and we will be back in just a mere moment with the next game. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. 2 seconds, and we'll be back into game number 2 between Team Bob Marley and THD in the round of 8 of the Tactic Hive Beta Cup.